There's sort of a mental health. I don't know, not okay. Or
Yeah.
It was a really good time. It was about 9.
Oh, wow.
And then, yesterday I came back, it's like, oh, you have to fill out your tunnel. Here, it has to have 3.
Yeah.
And then today I realized, oh, you have to do feedback in your manager, and I was like slapped in the face for all of the reasons why I had to go away. And I was like, it took me all day, and I did a lot of processing and sitting with all of the things. So
They kind of like eased you in.
Hey, Richard, can you hear us?
literally like, if I'm amazing, do it all.
Can you try talking through the mic to see if Richard can hear us? And then I am gonna try to join.
Hi, Richard. Can you hear us? Sorry, I didn't mean to scare everyone. Should have warned you.
What would be about you?
No. Richard can hear. All right.
See, like, I don't hear on the internet.
I can't.
I think, yeah, he said he can hear.
Okay.
When you're nervous, sorry.
Yeah. Get the projector right. Oh, it's feeding that.
When they're young. When they're young, right, Bob was overseas.
Yeah, that's all this is.
If they get older,
Y'all are stuck with me again today.
it was real good down that one time.
I was telling them at the last board meeting, the bar makes me work a lot. Like,
When they're young.
Kara did not have to do this much when Steven was president. And I thought I was just gonna like coast in and be like, yeah,
Right,
not have to do much, but I actually like have to do stuff.
right.
I wanted to coast. Barb makes me do stuff. I don't mind though. I complain, but I don't actually mind. Mm-hmm.
You do all that too.
And PAEE and the Master Gardeners and this and Wild Ones and.
Wow, it's the. I think, just all over the place.
I really want to take a vacation.
You're being moved.
Fine. My boss knows I need a vacation. That's not a surprise. What the heck, what?
It was supposed to turn on.
You guys, it wouldn't be a meeting if one piece of the technology didn't not cooperate. This time we have the Zoom working for everyone like hold your breath and knock on wood. It's all working.
President, it's like,
I'm the vice, Barb's the boss. But she's in the Czech Republic, so you're stuck with me today, so. I think that was just Richard.
which bike?
You know. I like what? Goldfish? How did you know that? When? But I do, you're not wrong. I'm just like, don't know when that would have come up in conversation.
I think you're good to go.
Cool. We'll give folks like one more minute, because I know there's always a few folks that trickle in. One more minute, and then we're gonna start. Nobody breathe on the technology until. Breathe in the other direction.
You have to stay behind the podium.
Oh, that's terrible and really hard. right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get ready. Everybody ready? All right. Welcome, everyone. Nice, good crowd today. To our August meeting of the Western PA Mushroom Club. And no, I am not Barb. Barb is across the pond at home in the Czech Republic for a bit. She goes back multiple times a year. If you didn't know that, she's from the Czech Republic, and her family is all still over there. So she's over there, and that means she leaves me in charge, which is a scary thought. But here we are. I'm Julie, I'm the vice president of the club, so I'll be leading us all through the meeting today. 12 officers, in case you need a refresh. Of course, Barb is our president. There's me. Sarah, our secretary. I know I saw her come in. There's Sarah. Jared, treasurer. I saw Jared come in too. Where's Jared? He's what? Really? All right, I could have sworn I saw Jared. Okay. Yes, he does, but I'm very concerned of whatever Jared I saw back there. Maybe. And Kara, who I don't believe is here. I don't think I hallucinated a Kara today. Okay, no Kara today. But be thinking if you want to be more active in the club or if you want to take a leadership role in the club. Elections are rolling around in October. October is when elections are. So if you want to run for like a chair position or any one of these roles, let one of us know. Nobody's going to be offended if you're like, I want your job. There's no money. Don't get excited. Speaking of chairs and taking on leadership roles, big thank you to Joy and Nathan for stepping up and taking over as hospitality chairs. They are the reason why there are beverages in the back. So thank them for that. Our previous hospitality chair is going to have a baby like any moment now. And I don't know from experience, but I hear that's really time consuming and stressful. So like we forgive her for not being here these last couple months. So thank you guys for taking that over and bringing snacks and drinks for me today. Meeting schedule, most of you probably have figured out by now when we meet because you're here. But we meet the third Tuesday from 7 to 9 here in this room where you're sitting. For the most part, it's the third Tuesday. We're going to look. So September's meeting is bumped up a week. So we'll actually see you all again in 3 weeks instead of 4, because this meeting happens to fall on the second Tuesday and not the third. I forget why we had to move it up, but there was, oh, because it was 4 a week. It was 4 a week, and that's just too much in 1 week. Not that we don't love you all and want to see you multiple times a week, but we're all volunteers, and that's a lot of time in 1 week. So we bumped it up a week because of the 4A. Today's meeting, John and Garrett are going to talk about the DNA process and what happens once you submit a mushroom that you find for DNA purposes. The September meeting is real fun. I can't wait to hear this one. Melissa McCormick, plants that eat fungi. I don't think we've ever had a talk like that, so I'm very excited for that. October will be our photo contest results, which we'll talk about here in a moment, how to participate in the photo contest. And also the election is in October as well. November is our annual potluck, which is always super fun and just a big old feast. Does not have to be mushroom related. Like you can bring something that does not have mushrooms, that's a-okay. And we also give out our awards then. So we have a couple awards we give out every year for members who have gone like above and beyond, either their role or just in helping others. And we give those out as a surprise to the people who get them at that meeting. So it's kind of crazy that there's only like after today 3 more meetings left of the year. It's wild, but I'm still not sure where April went. Our photo contest, the deadline to enter is the end of the month. We always like to make sure you have through the 4A to submit your photos because we know we find a lot of really cool stuff at the 4A and at Cook's Forest. So that's when a lot of photos start to come in. But Sarah needs time to go through them all because you all submit a lot of really, really great pictures, and it takes a long time for her to go through those and judge them and decide who's going to win each category. So we got to have them in by the end of the month. No, you have to be a member. You have to be a member in good standing, which means you paid your dues. So keep that in mind. Sarah will go through and check to make sure you paid your dues to the club to be able to win a prize. And she always has some really good prizes. I don't know what they are this year yet. I'm sure I'll find out soon, but there's always cool prizes for winning the photo contest. And this year they're split up a little differently, which I think is really nice. There's now a pictorial novice and advanced. So like if you don't have the super fancy camera, like that's okay. You can enter in the novice category and not be up against the barbs of the world who have their pictures published around the world. So a little evener playing field there with the pictorial. Then there's documentary and judges option. Mushroom selfies, which were introduced last year, or the Melfi, is now under judges option. So if you're going to submit a Melfi like Jared there, it's going to go under judges option. Sarah, do you have anything to add about photo contest? Good? Okay. Yeah, you've already gotten some, yeah? Handful. Three. There's three so far. That will change dramatically in the days after the foray. I don't think there's a whole lot of mushrooms back there today. So always remember if you have a mushroom that you find like today or the day or two before the meeting, you can always bring them with you. And there is always an identifier. Usually Scott is back there and a couple of the other identifiers along the back wall that you can bring it in and we'll get it identified for you. So always feel free to bring in mystery mushrooms, except maybe not any smelly ones. We don't need to stink up the whole room for the day. So maybe just a photo of your stinky ones, but bring the other ones. Past walks and events. So since last month's meeting, which July feels like it was already like an eternity ago. But since the last meeting, we have done a whole bunch of stuff. We've had a ton of walks. We were at North Fork, Frick Park. We were here. That was a really fun one. We were standing under a hornet's nest the whole time and had no idea until the very end. And we packed up and we were like, whoa. It was like a big one too. And they didn't even bother us the whole time. It was crazy. State game lands, two state game lands, Clear Creek and Bethel Green with me just last weekend. So lots of good walks that happened in the last month. And also quite a few of our members went to past events that weren't necessarily a walk, but they were tabling at both the North and South Park Garden in the Park events which is always a really fun event at North and South Parks put on by the county. But we had representation at both of those. So thank you to Jared and Scott and Kate and Lamont and Jared again and Jim for tabling at that and answering questions about mushrooms and all sorts of good stuff, interacting with lots of folks in the community. Now we're entering into like a really prime time of mushrooms. We're hopefully past the horrid, arid desert months of summer and getting into like what I like to call the good stuff. So there's a ton of walks coming up. There's one this Saturday at Boyce Mayview Park. Then there's one Sunday with Dirk. Is Dirk here? Yeah, I thought so. I thought I saw Dirk come in. Hey, Dirk. Dirk is leading a walk on Sunday. And then Tuesday, there's a walk at Beechwood with Dawn and Becca. I know they're both here. Hi, Becca. Hi, Dawn. Washington Park, September 3rd. Is that new? Is the Washington Park walk? Yeah. Cook Forest. And then I saw the Washington Park and I got excited because that's right by me. And I was like, "Wait, I didn't know about that. Yay. Okay, I'll come to that. And then Cook Forest again. We're going to be testing out some of the technology for the Cook Forest walk for the 4A. That's why we're going up there. Heart's Content National. I don't even know where that is. Where is that? Towards where? Oh, okay. Well, we are the Western PA Mushroom Club, so we have a lot of territory to span. So kudos to Josh for being all the way up there doing that. McConnell's Mills. Oh, if you go, that's a really good one. I love McConnell's Mills. Blade, what'd you say? Yeah, McConnell's Mill is awesome. So is Glade Run. Honestly, like you're gonna have a good time at any of these, but there's some really good places on that list. There's also some upcoming events that aren't, again, necessarily walks, but that our club members are doing. So Barb is about to be real busy. She's speaking at a whole bunch of different events here in the fall. Our fungi woman will be in Cleveland in September, and then she is going to miss the foray this year because she's going to be in Wisconsin. I told her I would forgive her and do her job at the foray only if she brought me cheese curds. So we'll see if she follows through on her promise of cheese. And then September 27th, this is actually an event at Phipps. So you can check out the Phipps website. But Kara and I, along with the lovely women of Flannel Roots Farm, will be leading a foraging extravaganza kind of event at Phipps. Where?
Yeah, on the actual event on the calendar.
That's wrong.
I wasn't sure because you sign up for the website.
Yeah. Richard, I know you're on the Zoom call. Check the website. September 27th is supposed to be at Phipps, not North Park. We'll see if he gives me the thumbs up on there, but he's the keeper of the calendar, so yeah, no, that is happening. I think I'm showing up to Phipps, so hopefully that's where it is. Either way, at one of those two locations, we'll be looking for mushrooms that day. I'm sure it is correct on the Phipps website because they have it together. So trust the Phipps website. They generally don't lead you astray. Stephen Buckland is having a walk. I'm bummed I'm going to miss this one. Hayes Woods, that's going to be really fun. Hayes Woods is our newest city park. If you haven't heard about it, it's been, oh my gosh, we've been talking about Hayes Woods since I started at the Land Trust almost 10 years ago. So Hayes Woods is going to be a great and exciting walk. Really good stuff. Okay, so if you can't go to the August 23rd walk, Stephen is going to do another mushroom walk in October and November at Hazewoods and lichens too. So keep that in mind. There'll be more info. We're still a little early out for November, not too early for October though. And then I'll be leading some walks here coming up soon. With my job at the Land Trust, we will be exploring Gertie's Woods, which we haven't been to Gertie's Woods in a few years to look for mushrooms, so that'll be exciting. And then our annual Slightly Spooky mushroom walk in October. So Slightly Spooky is really fun. It's at Dead Man's Hollow, which is called Dead Man's Hollow for a lot of reasons, and we talk about that on the walk, but you're also encouraged to wear costumes on October 17th. Nothing too crazy. You still have to be able to like hike and walk in it and like squat down and pick up a mushroom. So make sure your costume is like hike appropriate because it's like a 2-ish mile hike. So no like giant stilettos or like hoop skirts or anything. I don't think you'll make it if you come in that. Maybe you will. I don't know. Maybe you're talented. So those are even more. Okay, the Link Off Foray, our biggest event of the year, is rolling around and it is so soon and it's going to sell out. It sells out every single year. So you really want to get on our website and get your foray tickets like right now, today, tonight. And also, registration costs go up at the end of this month. So to get the early bird rate, you have to register by 31st. For the foray itself, which is on the 20th. So on the 18th, like we can't just have one event of the foray, we have to do like a lead up to it. So on the 18th in the evening, some folks like to go and camp out the 18th into the 19th because the 19th is our big walk at Cook Forest, but some folks like to go early and hang out and go on a UV walk in the dark, looking for things that glow under UV light, which I've heard is very fun. I've never gone because I don't like to be, I'm an early, well, I'm not even an early bird. I just don't like to be out late. So especially in the woods, that weirds me out. I don't know. I watch too many crime shows. So I have not gone on that one, but I heard it's very, very fun. So you can come to that on Thursday evening, and then you can camp Thursday evening and come on Friday all day to our Cook Forest walk, which is always so much fun. And we always find like hundreds of species, like so many mushrooms at Cook Forest. Cool boletes and like Cortinarius and amanitas and jellies and some wasn't it that was where someone found moose antlers. Wasn't it? That was a really cool one. Really cool stuff out there. So that is all day on Friday. Now, you don't need to be registered for the 4A to come to Cook Forest. Cook Forest is like its own fun pre-4A extravaganza. So no registration needed for either one of those two things. But Saturday is the big show, the main events, the big party, the mushroom feast, the guided walks, all happening September 20th. North Park Lodge, we are back in the lodge. We weren't at the lodge last year, but we are back in our old stomping grounds at the lodge. Guided walks all morning. We have two really great speakers in the afternoon. There'll be an auction, there'll be sales for books and club merch as well. There's 6 vendors coming this year to the 4A. Looking forward to having them selling mushroom goods, whether it's like dyed uh, garments dyed with mushroom dyes, mushroom jewelry. We're gonna have Flannel Roots will be there with all their tinctures and their dried and candied mushrooms. So be on the lookout for that. Fermented sodas workshop, and then of course our 4A feast, which we are like famous for among all the mushroom clubs, our love of the giant feast in the evening. So, Mike, do you have anything you want to add about the feast? Mike is our 4A feast chair. This man does not get to enjoy any of the 4A because he's in the kitchen from like 6:30 in the morning until dinner time. So he is the man behind the feast. Yeah.
Thank you, Julie. So that said, we will probably need some extra volunteers to help with setup and tear down and cooking, especially cooking things. So if you're interested in cooking something for us, please let me know. I'm keeping track of what everybody's cooking, so we don't have four different risottos or you know whatever else comes up a lot. But please let me know if you're interested in cooking something for us, or if you have a little bit of time in the morning or in the afternoon that you can help out with getting everything warmed up and set out and ready to go. All right, thank you. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Julie.
Mhm. Yeah, so make sure you check in with Mike if you want to make something. You don't have to cook for 100 some people. You cook for a much smaller amount, and there's so much food. And you cook for 10 to 15 people. And when, 50 people bring enough for 10 to 15 people, you got a lot of food. I'm bad at math, but even I know that's a lot of food. So it's all great. Does not have to have mushrooms in it, so keep that in mind as well. And we'll have a band again right? Am I making that up? No, we'll have a band again this year. And then a table walk where we go around and some of the experts that do the talks in the afternoon go around to the table and explain some of the really cool stuff that we found. So it's really great. Don, do you need to say something about the 4A? Oh, that's coming up. That's coming up. Well, here's the registration cost. It is not, Don is ready in the wings there. Oh, we need help, guys. Dawn is really ready to beg for help. Registration costs until the end of the month, $50 for WPMC members, and we'll show them the membership costs here in just a bit. But a great deal for everything you get. You get 2 world-renowned expert talks, walks all morning. The vendors, the cool tables. When you're a member, you get to do stuff like be part of the button program, which we'll get to too. So there's the registration costs. I'm up here nagging you to do this, and I have not done it myself, and I just wanted to acknowledge that I will register tonight too with everyone else. But they have to, I feel like they have to let me in. I gotta be in charge. You gotta let me in. I guess you really don't, but all right. The two speakers we are going to have at the 4A this year, Britt Bunyard, who is editor-in-chief, founder, pretty much the head honcho at Fungi Mycology Journal. And then he also has the book that I can't remember what's the under fungi, what's the bottom title? So like Secret World of Fungi or something. I can't remember what it. Secret Lives of Fungi. I was close. Secret Lives of Fungi. He did a talk for the club a couple years ago now, right after that book came out, and it was really great. So I didn't get to see him then. I'm looking forward to seeing him and getting him to sign my book. And we'll have his books for sale. If you don't have one, you can buy a book and have him sign it. Also there, Matt Kaysen, he is down at WVU. He's going to be talking about fungivorous millipedes, fungus-eating millipedes, more fungi than legs. So looking forward to that one. Kind of an interesting, unique topic. Last year we had someone talking about white nose syndrome in bats, and this year going with millipedes. So I appreciate the animal trend we're on here. Interesting to talk about the ecological role they're all playing. Okay, here's our call for volunteers. We need help. You guys, this club does not have a single person that makes a penny for doing this, right? We're all volunteer run, which means the foray is completely volunteer run by people who donate their time and their energy to make it really fun and make it really great. And there are benefits, like if you volunteer for 2 hours, you get a free 4A t-shirt. Lots of you are wearing your 4A t-shirts from the last couple years. I've seen the design this year. I don't know if it's announced yet, but it looks really sweet. So it's purple. I lost the vote for purple, but that's okay. I'll suck it up and wear purple for a day. But if you volunteer for half a day, you get 50% off your registration. So then the 4A is now only $25 for you to come to if you're willing to volunteer for some of that time and help us set up or tear down, help Mike in the kitchen, especially is a big one. And then if you volunteer all day with us running tasks and errands and this and that, the 4A is free for you. So keep that in mind. There are perks other than just being a great person and helping the club run smoothly. There are financial benefits. I think that does constitute a bribe, but that's okay. You have anything else to add, or was that sufficient? Okay.
Say, you want to read? You can read.
Oh, no, you could.
So we're still looking for one more volunteer on Friday. Because goods need to get from our storage unit over to North Park. So if we have a part-day volunteer on Friday, that would be fantastic. We definitely, anybody that's attending, if you have one of those 10 by 10 sun awnings, you know, that use
Pop-up tent.
Pop-up tent, please just bring it with you because we can use any ounce of shade we can possibly get. Oh, that sounds even better. So awesome. And I was gonna say Friday, we're definitely looking for volunteers to help set up Friday night. And then we're definitely looking for runners the day of to help with running mushrooms back and forth for the DNA committee. That's a really great opportunity to see every mushroom out there. And if you don't know their names, it's okay. There's identifiers.
Someone will tell you it.
And
yeah.
you'll learn so many more things doing things that day. The other thing is this one's a hard ask. I have 5-gallon buckets. We're looking for somebody to take the compost at the end of the event. I'm willing to take it all the way back up to my house in Denillwood City, but I'm going to have a lot of mushrooms that are being DNA'd. So I'd kind of like to not mix my vehicle with both things at the same time. So if anybody that's reasonably local, willing to take compost, I have 5-gallon buckets you're welcome to use. And might be able to be really, really helpful with us in that regard. Those are the things I can think of right now. Thank you.
No pressure, but you're all here in person. So now is the time to let Dawn know if there's anything that you really want to do and help out with. But no, we can't do it, literally can't do it without volunteers. So keep that in mind. Let us know what you want to help with. Membership. So membership report, this might not be accurate. Dawn sent me numbers and then I didn't update them. So, but it's around there. Over 300 households and probably closer to 600 people in the club. And that'll only go up as the weeks lead to the 4A. Newsletter. We get a newsletter out 5 times a year, which is pretty great. Most of the time it comes out electronically, but you can also pay an extra $10 to have one mailed to your home 5 times a year. When you sign up for your membership, Cecily over here in the corner is our newsletter chair, and she is always looking for articles, recipes, things you want to write about for the newsletter. We always welcome member inputs into the newsletter. So if you have something like a really great recipe you came up with, or just want to talk about what mushrooms mean to you, whatever it may be, let us know. Anybody on the board know, or Cecily, and we can get you to the right person to get something published in the newsletter. Okay, join the club. If you don't know by now, here's all the benefits listed out as to why you should join the club. 9 monthly meetings with like experts in the field, the ID tables, mushroom education day, the foray. You get a free grow kit at the May cultivation meeting. You get to participate in the Button ID Awards, which we'll get to next. You get the newsletters. You get to be in the exclusive Facebook group, which tends to find out when walks are sooner. And you also get to participate in the photo contest and win really cool prizes and all sorts of good stuff. Now, the dues did go up a little bit, but that's because they haven't changed, like hadn't changed probably since I was a child. So it was time for the dues to be a little, they went up by a couple dollars. And let me tell you, you all bring me $20 worth of joy very quickly in the year. So well worth it to be in your company. Button ID Awards, something else I got wrangled into. No, just kidding. This is really fun. So when you learn buttons with the club, this is unique to our club. People from across the country have interviewed us about our Button ID program. It's really fun. Oh no. I talked too long. 7:30, it's got a half hour and then it's done. Okay, anyway, it's like I couldn't talk all day like without it. But so Button ID Awards are really cool. Lots of clubs from across the country love to ask us about it because it's really unique. But as you learn mushrooms, we will reward you with buttons that say how many mushrooms you know. So it starts with a kids button, like kids could get a button just for being a kid who likes mushrooms. And then it starts at 10. And it now, because some of you are really overzealous and overachievers, the button numbers now go to like 3,000 because we've had to, because we literally ran out of buttons that we had numbers for. And I was piecing like a 250 and a 400 together to be like, here's your 650 button. So we now have buttons that go like up to 3,000 because I know Kara is like teetering, and probably John and Garrett are both teetering dangerously close to that number already too. So keep having to make more. So all you do is you track your mushroom finds on iNaturalist. When you get research grade, you send me your iNat name and I will do the rest. So they have to be on iNat. They have to be on iNat and they have to be research grade. But then you can earn a button. And we have a bunch of buttons to award today because you all kept me busy the last month, even though it was really dry out. I think because it was really dry, you all went back and ID'd a whole bunch of your finds from spring. So like a bunch of people had mushroom buttons to get. So we're going to start awarding some of those buttons. With a 250 button, Dawn Wayman, come get your 250 button. She's ignoring me. Dawn, come get your button. Nobody listens to me. 250.
You're welcome.
You're
I'll
welcome.
try not to lose this one.
I will replace it if you lose it. I did just have to order new button making supplies, and you can only order them in 1,000 quantity. So I've got buttons probably until everyone in this room is long gone, because 1,000 is going to last a really long time. With 150 mushrooms is Ron here today. Ron, I knew you were coming today. Ron also gets the distinction of being voted an identifier with the club. So his button is circled in red. That's our identifier button. Congratulations, Ron.
Thank you, Brad.
You're welcome. Thank you. Jessica got her 100 button. I mailed hers. Hi, Jess, if you're on. Sarah, where's Sarah? Is she here today? I had her 100 button. Yay, Sarah, 100 button. And then Sarah with an H also got 100 button, but hers is mailed, so she's got her button hopefully. What? Did someone yell at me? Okay, I thought I heard someone yell at me. Sarah's is mailed. Barb is not here, but she will get a 650 button when she gets back. Another reason why I had to make well, I say I had Dawn made them. So yeah, I'll keep getting more. And then Jared, come get your 400 button. Congratulations. And Mr. Dan Stockman, come get your 150 button. You're welcome. And also Mr. Mike Henry, who was recently voted an identifier this month too. Come get your fancy 250 identifier pin. Congratulations, Mike. All right, so congrats to our 2 identifiers. That means they have agreed not to poison anyone accidentally or on purpose with mushrooms, and lead hikes and walks for the club, and be representatives of the club at various outings around the region. And they know at least 150 mushrooms. Probably a whole lot more than that. All right. Okay, we have a merch store. You can just search WPMC spread shop and it will pop up and you can get yourself anything from water bottles to totes to aprons, which if you're going to volunteer to cook at the 4A, you should get an apron. Just saying. But the proceeds of that come back to the club. So it's kind of a nice way to give the club some passive income too. So if you want to order a shirt or whatever, please do so. Next meeting, September 9th. Remember, it's a week earlier. Plants that eat fungi, plant pathogens. Looking forward to that talk with Melissa McCormick. But tonight, any other questions, announcements? I rambled a lot, so I think I got it all in. Tonight is all about the DNA process. We have 2 of our DNA, leads back here, Mr. John Plischke and Garrett Taylor, both mycologists for the Mushroom Club, which means they know at least 500, but both of them are part of the reason why we needed a 3,000 button, I think. So they are going to come up today and talk to us about what happens to the mushrooms after you pluck it out of wok and give it to them to DNA. So they're going to cover everything after that. So welcome, John and Garrett.
Well, you can get them to the mic.
Who wants this really hot microphone to put in their pocket?
Hold it.
You can put it in your pocket.
Oh,
And this has to go on.
oh,
Yeah. Garrett rides a unicycle too, a man of many talents.
As of this, it'll be almost 2 years riding a unicycle. Yes. It's hard to learn at this age.
I wanted to try to learn, but I was like, I will break a hip and
Yeah. I think I'll break the hip eventually.
And that's because of the email that you sent it to.
No permission to play. Oh. Okay. Here. Other size. Hopefully that comes through.
Yeah. And so some of those things.
Do you have to do it for all of them? Can't you
Yeah.
do it all at once? Or
There's 3 others, but I'll just let you get started there.
Enjoy a beverage from our assembly. Welcome committee back there while we wait.
There you go.
Yeah. Just share, right?
Mhm.
So you have to do that for all of them. There's some more, but I don't know, maybe we'll do it. I could probably do it from here,
Maybe
maybe.
it might come up and you might be able to request them.
Why would that be? That sucks.
Yeah.
Because it
maybe
should
in
just
it.
be, yeah.
Maybe the media files are saved in a different folder if you share that folder with me.
That's that.
Right.
PowerPoint.
It might not come in through that anyway, you know, sometimes it doesn't come in over the PowerPoint, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Is it working?
I just have to probably go and share things as they come up, or
If you know what folder they're in and you share that folder with me.
do you know that, like where you put all the videos that I gave you for
I
the
just put 'em
Steve's
on the
lab?
slide.
You put them on the slides,
I
right?
put them on the slide, so not anywhere else. I
Okay.
get the PowerPoint if that don't work.
Yeah, let's try this.
It may be an editor, sure.
You got this.
Well, the PowerPoint doesn't have the one.
That's okay, we can mention the date, right? You got a script picture.
Yeah,
It's keep going down. What happens? So yeah, right there.
We'll try it the old fashioned way.
Oh, it's been back up and bus hour.
scroll down to those slides and see, I mean, at least.
Ah,
Continue for free.
oh my goodness.
Yeah, work.
Yeah,
So
well, go down and see if the videos are on there.
go on there. Have a look.
Slide
Like 90,
90?
yeah,
Why?
we're gonna have to hustle.
What? Okay.
That's not a
I'm
video.
gonna give
is it?
you guys a
Yeah.
10-minute,
Okay.
when it is 10 to 9, I'm gonna give you
Yeah.
this.
Okay, we'll hustle. Yeah, see, it's not a video, right?
No.
Go down the next.
197?
Is that a video?
Yeah, because that's
It's not,
usually
right?
five.
No.
Can't make it.
It
Yeah, let's go
transfers
back to
to-
the other one.
Okay. Get out of here. What is that?
That's
Yeah, I
it,
just,
right?
what is
Get rid of
this?
that thing. I didn't even get rid of it. There's no like X, what the heck?
I don't know.
Is that on the live?
Okay, whatever. Here we are.
All right.
Okay, just get going.
Okay. We got, we got a lot to cover, so we're just gonna start talking. And there's a lot of, if you want to follow along here, you can read along. It's kind of hard to read, I guess, in green.
That's it. Please skip that.
Yeah. Yeah, is this mic working? Yeah.
Yeah.
Loud now.
Yeah, like you sound like equally as loud as I do
Eat the mic.
to me. Eat it,
Your voice.
yeah.
Hey!
Do you want to?
Oh.
We can take turns, whatever.
Okay, when I get hoarse, I'm gonna give this to John. But we're just, I don't wanna like be hogging the mic. But you have to like eat it, okay.
Speaker, that's the whole point.
Yeah, we have to hustle through this, so, because we have a lot of slides to get through, and there's a lot of information here to get through. So here we go. iNaturalist, and DNA, yeah, so this is what, we all share all our stuff to iNat. iNat's not the only great place to contribute to science, sharing your mushroom photos and recording your finds. It can also be used to get your mushroom photos identified, find and learn uncommon species that you've never seen before. Okay, you can read that if you want. How do you forward again? Space? Yeah. So this is like where the dashboard that we use to look at our DNA sequences. All the DNA sequence mushrooms at this point in time. Documenting species using INAT. We just talk about what we do here, taking pictures with our cell phones and adding them to the INAT app to geotag everything and create the observations, put information in, all that stuff. Yeah, so when we get home, like we take all our pictures that we've taken with our good cameras and move them over to INAT, matching the photos with the specimens. That's more of that. There's John, freezing his ass off in Indiana. Probably. Yeah, we wrap all our specimens up, then we take them out, and it's like Christmas when we get back to the nice campsite and freezing. We open all the mushrooms up and put them all out in these little bottle caps to keep them from being blown away by the dehydrator fan. There's the big fish poser here, John in the middle with the 1,500 specimens from Mama. I think we did last year, something like that.
Yeah, we did, I think last year was over 1,700.
1,700 mushroom collections from 4 guys in Pacific Northwest Nama Camp.
I'm just gonna move this real quick so that you can not have that in the way. There you go.
115 is like efficient, it gets them done. Usually by the next day, anything we don't do the next day, we just let run the rest of the day and put it through the rest of the overnight. Usually there's space. Usually we never really fill up more than the 2 dehydrators that we bring with us. And maybe we've done 3 once, but they're organized in Ziploc snack size bags. Everybody takes those. Steve likes those. Brian, who his processor is, likes them. We're not currently doing it that way, but we'll talk about that. Well, hopefully we're not. We found a cheaper way. Like cutting off Brian on. It stopped moving. Wait, I think this is why. No? Oh, okay. You document specimens using INAT. We use our phones and then we put our INAT number to all the ID slips. And then all the ID slips we take and we put onto the observation, the code from the ID slip. So it goes both ways. It's like a double check to make sure things don't get lost and confused. Well, those things you learn as you do them. There's a lot of feedback. Once your specimens are already boxed them out, send to the lab. Oh, and sometimes the labs take a break, so you have to. That's a little better. Sometimes the labs take a break, so you have to pay attention to who's taking your specimens. If you're okay, we're gonna explore some of the equipment that we have and some of these other labs have to analyze our specimens. So this is John's lab. And it's in transition, like he's always trying to improve it. This is where he had it last year, and this is where he had it in March and stuff when I visited. This is just a different look, pretty much the same look. Can easily run out of space. The stainless table was a very nice score, but it's like, where else is it? How are we gonna get anything else in here? It's gonna be tough. And all the tips and centrifuges and all the equipment all on a shelf with some of his books and one of the machines. I don't know which one that is.
Centerview, left centerview.
Oh, this big one in the corner?
Oh, yeah, just up and order.
One of these things? He's got four. He's got a lot of machines. These are all PCR machines. Some of them are pretty expensive if you buy them new, but we don't do that. So in order to get the power for everything, we had to move everything downstairs and run it off different circuits in the kitchen, which has a lot of juice. We're always doing things in the lab, even if it's just expanding the lab and getting better equipment. Backlogs are always a fact of life. John's lab's moved to the basement. An expansion has just started. With increase in space, will be better organized and less backlogs, or it will just make it more work. So this is John's lab in the basement, work desk, lab table, entertainment, lots of space. So we source some equipment off of eBay. For one thing, some of these used things on eBay are a fraction of the price you can get elsewhere. See, about a tenth of the price, including tax and shipping. This isn't including tax and shipping. This is Brian Hunt. He's the master sampler for my Coda lab. I think he's up to 50,000 samples currently. He goes through about a full plate worth of samples, 98 samples, in under an hour. And that's including organizing. He has a little lighted setup. It's all on a battery. He's got LEDs to make sure all those tiny little pieces of mushrooms end up in the, they're like a tenth of the size of a grain of rice. They all end up at the bottom, actually smaller than that now. In the bottom of these 8-strip tubes. He often posts on Facebook about his work, and in several YouTube videos giving detailed instructions. You can't read that probably. I can't either. He has huge piles of boxes at his workstation. All in the background, each one of those is a 96 sample box for somebody. Most of our mushrooms have gone through Brian Hunt. And in the future, maybe not so much, but a lot of other stuff that's available. Midwest Fungi Finds on YouTube, Jessica Williams, How to Make a Phylogenetic Tree with Joshua Berkeback. Some of these things are a little bit over the head, but if you have questions or really want to make a phylogenetic tree with Joshua Berkeback and Jessica Williams, watch this. If you have trouble, let us know. We've done this. So it shouldn't be too hard. I think they go into it. I watched this and was able to follow it all and do it. They use some pretty fancy software. So it's a little bit better than the French thing, which is really quick. Phylogenetic FR or something like that. She's this is her, wait, no, this is Kyle's account, right? No, Laughlin, that's Jessica. Never mind. This is some of her other videos. So she does the sequence validation. She's kind of like the teacher for that, one of the teachers, her and Scott Astuni. And they work for Hart Singer and Fundus, as well as the Ohio Mushroom Lab to sequence or to validate. I think they work for Steve too, validating all the sequences that come through that after they get nanopore. Oh wow, okay. She's got a lot of different things. Just go to her YouTube and subscribe and like. And she's not good at saying that, but she has said it in the past. Please like and subscribe. This is this is a talk with Kyle Cannon. Kyle's the force behind the Ohio Mushroom Lab. They're not taking sequences or specimens right now, but they've taken a lot of our stuff to I know John's done a lot with them, and Ohio does a lot for the sequencing lately. Mycosomatic, that's Hart Singer. He's got a lot of good stuff too. Some of it's duplicates of what Jessica does, but he goes into a little more detail. And Scott Astuni, he does all this stuff. He also is leading the trying to describe mushrooms page. I think they're doing like a class where like you learn how to write the paper. So you take the sequence and all that stuff. If you have a new one, then you figure out if it's actually new and you write the paper. So that's what he's been doing that on his own, and now he wants other people to start doing it too. Just the same as they were validating, now they're doing that. Steven Russell on Facebook. He's almost exclusively on Facebook. He has a Patreon now, and I think he's on Substack. But he's another good one to follow. He's the Mycota Lab. He's the biggest probably sequencer in the world of mushrooms. And so he always putting stuff up. There's not another thing that he shared, I think. Is that Steve's?
Yeah, sequence validation.
Sequence validation discussion session 1. Okay. Yeah, that's him, yeah, up in the upper right hand corner. Mycoblood strategy. Tissue collection. What's that? Mycosomatic Hart Singer. He does a different straps, some things differently than Stephen Russell. So it's good to know what he'll be at NAMA this year. I think he's going there.
That's the
Or
club at the barn.
He'll be at NAMA. He's not going to NAMA.
How about both?
This is a club at the barn.
When we did the picking that one night,
Oh, I don't remember.
when we stayed up all night with club members, we did the tissue sampling.
Oh, this is us. Yeah, yeah. This is the Western Pennsylvania Club. This is the first time we ever did sequence everything in a foray, everything we didn't know. So this is something that was like a trial run for what we're doing now at all the big forays like NAMA and NEMF. And well, mostly, I think they did the West Virginia foray this year, like did like 900 some specimens from that one. Yeah, so this is how we started at the Cook Forest 2022 foray, something like that. And then we collected most of the stuff there because North Park was dry as a bone when we got back here. So most of the stuff came from Cook. I think we had like 500 from Cook and like 200 from here. And we all set up with everybody that came and volunteered. About 10 of us, or maybe more, I think came through. About 10 of us sat down the whole time, like there were 10 of us doing it. A couple of people came in and went in the process. So probably like 15 of us total. And we picked all the samples from the mushrooms and we put them all in tubes and we sent them home with Steve. Yeah, so you don't have to go to any fancy college or university. You just talk to us and watch this stuff. PCR extractions from Brian Hunt. Okay, so he does all the picking and stuff. He's really one to watch for that. Oh, this thing. Okay, we just put this up. These are future things that are happening in the area. This one's in Akron on the left. Yeah, left. In Akron, next Wednesday, 9 to 11. So if you're an early riser, drive the 2 hours to Akron and watch Hart Singer and Jessica Williams in person talking about their DNA barcoding. Or you can go to the Ohio Mushroom Festival. John will be there. Alan Rockefeller, Mandy Park are going to be talking about stuff. I know Kyle Cannon's there, and they're all going to be talking about DNA stuff. So you can get your fill of DNA stuff in this general area. And also at NEMF this year, Hart's going to be at NEMF this year, and Stephen Russell is going to be at NAMA. And NEMF is in Ithaca, New York, which is probably about 5 hours from here, 4 or 5, 5 hours. Yeah, not 4. Definitely a good 5 hours. But it's very beautiful right on the Finger Lakes region of New York. Should be really cool if we get some rain. And then there's also NAMA, which is in southern Vermont. And that Steve Russell will be there at the DNA lab. Okay, yeah, you're not gonna read all that. I can't read it either. But it's probably really good and I'm not sure. YouTube, okay. So this is something that maybe if you ask, we'll just give it to you. And we have a printer, a QR code for different things. I haven't really figured this out yet, even though I'm good friends with the person that gave it to us. Um, Yeah, so we're talking about how fast like Brian Hunt is. We're like 3 times slower than he is, and he's 3 times faster than us. A lot of it has to do with the organization. Everything's pre-organized for him, and sometimes for us, we're not so organized. Okay. Here's a bunch of stuff I think this is all on protocols.io. If you really get in the weeds about this, you can look at all the stuff that we've been doing lately. We progressed to doing some of the extraction ourselves. And then this process makes it easy to PCR everything ourselves and then send out just a simple tube instead of all these racks and all this plastic in the mail. But this is what you'd have to do before you send anything in. It has to go to Brian Hunt and go through this process, or you do it yourself, like we did at the at the Gary Linkoff foray 2-3 years ago. And this is us doing some of the DNA extractions. Looks like I have on the left, I have already done. And then I think maybe these are already extracted, and then we're probably taking. Oh no, we're doing the extraction process. So we're putting the extractant amp in with our mushroom specimens. And then this tells you, I think we put 15 microliters or 20 microliters of XAMP in each of the tubes with the mushroom pieces. And then we make sure that they're full in the pipette before we put before we put the stuff in them. And make sure it's in there. So we put all the extractant amp in these big wells and we make sure that the tubes are all full before we put them in with the mushrooms. And we spin them down for 10 minutes in the centrifuge to make sure the tissue's all at the bottom of the XAMP. And then we add water. And then the tips don't need to be ejected yet. So like a lot of this plastic gets like thrown out, but this stuff it doesn't. You know, this is probably not gonna make a lot of sense to you guys. But it all goes into this PCR machine because this is what we use as our heat block. Instead, we're not doing a PCR, we're just using our PCR machines as a heat block. And to heat up the XNAMP, it's like cooking the mushrooms. It breaks open the mushroom, the DNA is released. For 80 degrees, 60 minutes, I think they cut that way down. For some reason, I read that. I think they, at least with the new XAMP protocol with the new stuff that Art and Steve are working on, it's like 10 minutes or something. And then it's just like a little cooking. And then it's good to go. That's done. And then I think you can hold it here if you don't have the index plates with the master mix and all that stuff in it, and the tagged primers. So if you don't have that, you've already cooked everything, you can put it in the freezer and wait for it to show up. And then you take a little tiny piece of it and you can poke it through the foil into the tagged primers and master mix, or you can remove the foil. And then make sure you take the number off the plate and record those because they will tell you they are something you have to pass along to Steve. That number 4 is very important. This one is also, this one's also 4. I think we already seen one. So we take the blue plate mushroom sample, we take our pipette, we pipette 0.7 microliters from the blue plate. I don't know how to go back. From the cooked plate into the foil into the foil plate index primer stuff. That's what we're doing here. All the mushroom stuff is on the left, and then on the right is all the master mix and primers. Everything from the left has to move to the right. And just 0.7 microliters, very tiny amount. And it gets mixed, and then the tubes will get thrown out, or I'm sorry, the tips get all thrown out. So it's 96 tips this takes to move all the mushrooms from the left to the right. Inject, suck up, eject, suck up, mix everything, eject tips in the trash until all 12 rows are done. The skirted rack is then sealed with clear film, which is similar to the foil, and the roller is used to help seal it. And then it goes into the PCR machine for the second time, but this has a special recipe that it runs. It's heating and cooling, and that will grow the DNA and replicate it. It needs to accept skirted plates. So these ones are a little bit fancier than the other ones we had for the cooking phase. These ones are skirted plate acceptors. So we put it in here, and this is the recipe. Repeat it 30 times. 94C for 1 minute, 51C for 1 minute, 72C for 1 minute. And repeat 30 times. And then the application, the template is labeled by run and plate, save just in case, and put back in the freezer. So we take all our mushrooms that we've extracted and throw them back in the freezer in case it doesn't work. Although it's probably the plate in that case, because the mushrooms they're just mushrooms and extracted ant. There's not a whole lot that can go wrong. Except the extracted ant, I don't think can be held forever. The new stuff can. The new stuff is more resilient in the freezer. It can be frozen and resampled at a later date. It's attempted only once. I'm not sure the protocol for attempting it again, because you have to have all new primers and know which ones you're doing, and it's complicated. We'll figure that out when we get to it. So once all that done, the lab cat is now allowed back in the room. We take all our 5 plates and we put them all the liquid from all those tubes, or that whole rack, we put all that liquid back into these green tubes. So everything that's amplified is in these green tubes. Each one of these tubes represents a full plate of 96 specimens. It gets sent to Michigan. And this is some of the plates in this freezer here, I think. Yeah. But this is where my CODA lab is located. It's in near Ann Arbor, Michigan. It is Ann Arbor, Michigan, I think. I should know I was there. It's near 8 Mile, where M&M's from. And then the nanopores are really cool. They can get washed over and over again. So we used to use something called a flongle. It was a lot cheaper, but now they're using old nanopores, and they use them like over and over again. They wash them, and this one says it's 1+ years old, and they still are managing to keep some of the pores active and working. So they get a lot of miles out of these nanopores. Here's a ton of master mix. that tube, I don't know how many plates that would fill, but quite a few. I think it's like something like 7 microliters, and that's, I don't know what that is, 100 milliliters. So that's a lot of mushrooms you can sequence with that one tube that roll. He's got 12 of them or 16 of them. And these are all his primers. I can't imagine how many primers, how much money of primers that is. That's a lot. And all his plates. And these are a bunch of samples that were taken from herbarium in California. A lot of type specimens are located within these boxes. And some other stuff up above and below. And this is a big box of one of the biggest collectors in North America, Huafeng, and Rob Hallett, a slightly smaller box, but also a very prolific collector from Indiana. And a really cool habitat, the Indiana Dunes. If you're ever out that way and he's giving a talk, you should go see him. I don't know if Huafeng does talks. I don't know. I haven't seen much from her. Like, that'd be cool to see what she knows, to learn some of what she knows from Michigan. This is one of the things that he's working on. What do we call this? When you guys in February,
Mycology, I forget.
when you go to the
Grocery store
yeah,
mycology?
grocery store mycology. This is one of the samples that they did. And you can see it's marked on the top with the run and the plate number. And these are some of what came out of this. Is they sampled like every single mushroom in this jar, and this is what it was. So pretty much what they advertised. I mean, the amounts, yeah, you don't have a whole lot of Boletus edulis, but what do you think you're buying? You know, you have a lot of button mushrooms and a lot of oyster mushrooms in there, and a lot of Swillus, luteus, whatever Swillus colonitis is. I bet that one's delicious. Unlike it's how it sounds. And this is what it advertised. And they're all from Poland, Serbia, Romania, Montenegro, Macedonia, Bulgaria, Chile, Peru, Bosnia, Hungary, Kosovo, France. So like all over the world. And it's funny that they only got that many mushrooms. And we got some movie time. I think some of these are probably mine. It's a robot, one of the robots. And they're extra PCR machines. That's the main robot right there. I think. Those guys, some of these guys before. I've used those in Indiana. Those Eppendorf centrifuges. Yeah, I go ahead, check it on this workstation. Specimens, all kinds of stuff here. A lot, this is cool. This is your desk. See video, okay. Cool. Yeah, Kristen, nice. Yeah, I love all that kitschy stuff that they have. Oop, I don't wanna watch it again.
Where do they put the results?
Where? If you think you sent something in, there's a link that you can go to and you just copy the INET number, or if it's mushroom reserver, the mushroom reserver number, and you copy it and you paste it and you click find, and it tells you whether or not what run it's been done, and you can look at the raw sequence data. But that's one way, and that's the best way to do it. If you're just looking for a specific thing that you sent in. I shared it. I have to go look for it every time, like, pretty much, I search for Brian Hunt's post on Indiana mushrooms. And find it that way, because Mycomap, searching for anything on that page is just a nightmare.
Get from here up into Gen Bay.
They have to do that, and then they have an automated process that they're working on. Once everything's done in the whole run, they can go through and upload everything to GenBank. And just like that, like however many thousand mushrooms are uploaded to GenBank. Or you can do it yourself one at a time. Like I know I've done that for all my specimens way back in the day, but that's a pain, and then you have to like manage them yourself. You don't want to do that. Just let him do it. Okay, here's another video of another room that they have there where they're doing some culturing. Another worker of his does a bunch of culturing. It's mostly sequencing. I don't have best access. I mean, I guess. I don't know. I can't do, I guess that's the end of it. Well, that was a good segue. Scott asked this question at a good time. If you guys have any other questions, we'll be happy to answer them.
You're following the samples for the PA Department of Conservation and Natural Resources grant, whoever needs, this is the same process.
Well, currently we were doing something else for that. I think we were doing more like, we wanted to do some soil. I mean, I guess Dawn could speak to that maybe. Okay, Dawn's coming up to let us know. Yeah, we're all funded ourselves. So we would take the money probably.
So Richard Jacob is really the person that's in charge of the DCNR project, but I can speak very, very briefly to that this year, we're doing dirt sampling for fungal potential. Going into next year will actually be fungi. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Okay. Wait, I need to switch hats.
Yeah, thanks, Don.
So Garrett, I hand you a bag with some dry specimens.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Cause you see what happened with the other bags that you handed me? Not much yet. So I have sampled everything, but I haven't sent them out yet.
Well, my question is, once you get it, do all of them go through the extraction and the amplification? You
Yeah.
just do that all now yourself, or you send it off to the lab?
Yeah, that's what we're doing that ourselves
So-
now.
Okay.
That, the extraction,
100, we sat down right now,
right,
and
Right.
they look like this in a bag.
yeah, if they look like that in the bag, it's gonna take a lot longer. If they look like the little snack bags that like are easier to fiddle around with, if they're like all different size, like tiny bags, it makes it a little bit tougher. Like it's nice to have nice snack bags, all,
I'd rather have them in a bigger bag.
oh, yeah, just,
10 bags.
cause to try to open that bag right now,
Sure.
it's hard, right? It's kind of like locked. I mean, you can do it, but it like, yeah.
Yeah, so you got, I don't know, 10 samples.
Oh, wow, yeah. And those are all in that one tiny bag that was hard to open to begin with. And those tinier, even tinier bags. Yeah, so
So you're not that dexterous.
no, that part's gonna be the bottleneck. What Brian Hunt does is that's like what they call that, like yeoman's work or whatever, like that's the stuff that's the big bottleneck. And he's managed to do that all by himself.
That or sample to make it.
Correct. Yeah, so it takes us like 3 times longer, and honestly, if it came in little dime bags, it's gonna take like 6 times longer. But yeah, I mean, you wanna keep a little bit and you feel like it's a waste of plastic, but the time that it wastes a person that sampling is something to consider. So,
But again, you had 100 in snack that,
yeah,
start to finish.
3 hours for that, then once you get it, then you take the stuff and put it in there, maybe 20 minutes. And then you bake it for an hour. And I mean, you can do something else while that thing's baking, so it's not like a full hour that's lost. And then you take all that and put it into the foil thing, so what does that take?
I think.
Probably another hour,
Yeah, an
yeah.
hour, I
Like
bet.
half a day.
Yeah,
And all
like,
that, it's like,
you
it's like
probably-
this. We did 500 test runs. You know, like 500 specimens.
Yeah.
And for the 500, we put like from morning to night, late at night. 2 days to do 500.
we're learning as we go, so, yeah.
What about the cost of all the equipment? Start to finish.
Oh, God,
Fran,
way more than that.
any more?
Yeah. You could get away with less probably, but if you're smart, like if we were going back with what we know now, like we could hook somebody else up for a lot less. But yeah, probably in the neighborhood of $5,000. I mean, it depends on what you wanna spend on and what you wanna skimp on, you know? But yeah, we have a lot of different things that we've found out about, so don't just do this yourself, like talk to other people that have done it before. Like Kyle Cannon's got lists, he'll post like lists of stuff that you can buy for him for the Ohio Mushroom Lab, and he's really grateful for that. But it's also something that we look at, like, oh wow, we could use that. That's a lot cheaper than what we're paying. Or like it's good to share and figure out what everyone else is doing.
When do things get matched up to names? Like I find something that they want, it's some kind of horty this. I send it in, I get DNA and it's something else.
Yeah, sometimes
Then how do the names get
How do they-
assigned to the DNA?
uh,
It's
they,
fixed on?
they'll well, it goes through the validation process, and once you get a sequence, you get it validated, and the validation process will go through and tell you if it's a new to GenBank species or not. And once you have that information, then you can try to match it with a name if there's reference data in GenBank.
What is the validation process?
That is a class that we've taken just for validating nanopore sequences. But yeah, so nanopore sequences are slightly different. Sanger has its own validation process, matching chromatograms, and with nanopore you match like data. So you have like each base has different quality of data.
Speaking of that,
Okay, yeah. Maybe John.
Let me
can
explain
explain
it.
that.
Okay, so your mushroom, let me just set it down. Let's say your mushroom gets sequenced and you get a sequence. It might come back. If you look at your INAT, it might say A, T, C, and it'll be a big long sequence. And when it comes back to the sequence validators, before it even gets put on INAT nowadays, the sequence validators look at it. It could be somebody from Fundus, it could be Steve, or it could be somebody from the Ohio lab, or anybody that's passed. They give a class, and if you take the class, it's free. You have to spend a couple nights doing it, and you have to pass the test. So basically, what you do is use a program called Eugene, and it's a free program, and it shows you the DNA and how it lines up, and you can match it to the known specimens. You know, is that Eugene? Yeah, that's Eugene down there. And you match it up with Eugene, and you do a little editing, make sure everything's lining up, and then you get a Steve's, and you get a match, and it's like within 1%. Then you probably got this, the right mushroom if it's off some. And then the validators will tell you, like right now, they would tell you it matches to a type specimen. They might tell you that if it does. Or you might be the only one ever found, it doesn't match anything. And they'll make a note, hey, yours is unique, it doesn't match anything. And to do that, I hear right now they're at 20, the backlog for validation, what I heard last was they're 20,000 mushrooms behind that need validated. Because it's most of them are volunteers. Some of the fundus people get paid if it's California stuff, but everybody else is a volunteer. So the 20,000 mushrooms behind. And I ask, like when Garrett and I try to do our own stuff, we're pretty quick. We don't like to edit the sequences. We make sure they're not messed up, but if a T's off, does it affect the thing? You can do it pretty quickly. But if you're doing it for Fundisk or something like that, they like you to to trim the ends, fix it, you know, an extra letter or something like that. And from what I understand, if you're getting paid to do it for them, they expect you to do 4 mushrooms an hour to get paid. So if a person's supposed to do 4 an hour and they're 20,000 mushrooms behind, just imagine the backlog.
Yeah, that's what you can go through, like Jessica's page and stuff, Jessica Williams, and
She has pages how to do it.
learn about Eugene. She'll teach you all that, and you can do it all yourself.
So it ends up saying your DNA sequence is the same as these 16 others.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And the name is, if there's a name, they have a holotype.
there's
Gonna
usually
sound-
several different names, and you have to figure out which name you want to choose, and yeah, it's complicated. Sometimes it doesn't match a name, and you have to create one. I think when I was doing it, it was like something like 15% were coming back with like unique sequences. Now it's probably less because the curve, we're finally getting more data. So you had a question?
Yeah, the Micro Labs, that like University of Michigan,
Mike,
later are they like independent?
Mycota, they're independent company.
And do you pay them or do they just accept samples like as, data is the cost of transaction? Or
they
they're
do-
doing it for foreign data or do you pay them to say it?
We pay them. We pay them for the plates,
Yeah,
and then they send us the plate. Like last I checked, it was $100. It's probably going to go up.
okay,
Because that validation process is still like, I think that's still they still do that.
yeah,
That once they get the sequence, they take it from there.
okay,
So you don't have to really do that. But I mean, we'll be doing that for ourselves once we get the data back.
yeah,
But
but so that guy's an employee, not just the poor grad student that's taking.
he's an employee,
taking
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And then my other question was about the primer that you use.
Yeah.
Is that, so I just saw master fungal primer or something, so that's just like the most generic fungal. that-
Master mix is all the stuff that it takes to amplify DNA. The primer is just the tag that goes
Yeah.
on the end of the DNA.
Yeah, so.
So yeah,
then-
you have a reverse primer and a forward primer. They're each unique to that part of the well
Yeah,
and that plate.
yeah, I've ran PC a while ago, but.
Yeah.
I like a fungal specific set of primers, right? I feel like.
Right.
Is that your most expensive, like?
That's probably
reusable,
one,
Like.
yeah, I think it's,
Non-reusable piece of equipment or not equipment, but reagent, I guess.
yeah, I don't know how much the master mix versus that. If that might be, cause like, they're so diluted that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just use a tiny little
Yeah.
bit of it each time.
Okay, is there more expensive, like more expensive specific, species specific sets of primers that you can get for fungi or?
He's
is it
got
just-
some other stuff too,
so
but
that-
mostly,
It's like you get down to the,
mostly what he does is ITFs.
Alright,
Yeah. I think even for chanterelles, at one point, he was like doing a different stuff than
Yeah.
ITS, but now I think they figured even chanterelles, like ITS works just fine.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome, thank you.
you're welcome. Good questions. Any more questions? Anything you want to unlearn? Yeah, go ahead.
Exciting or something like that, while you guys. That's.
Yeah.
Exciting.
I don't know, there've been a lot. Like just going out and when we first started doing this, like we went out, we started going out together probably to Indiana with some of the learning from Steve and like meeting up with him like the first day and like going through everything with him at night and him just calling out all the mushrooms that he knows in the dark on the porch, just telling us all that stuff and like, I have a couple beers or whatever at the fire and just going out in these random places and like Indiana is cool. It's like all farmland except for these little parks. And they got some old ass parks from like the 1900s. And like one of the places we went was like a bomb, like Jefferson Proving Grounds. And Steve is like, oh, you got to go there. It's where I had my biggest day ever, 200 and some species all in one day. And so we're like, oh yeah, we got to go there. So we go there and they make us sit through a class. And it took us and you probably heard this one before from John, but made us sit through this class, took like an hour and a half. and they're telling us all about these unexploded ordinances and what to do, and we're like, okay, if we sit through your class, you're gonna let us hunt mushrooms, right? I'm like, yeah, no worries, just sit through this class. So we get through the class, and they're like, okay, we're ready to go. We want to go hunt mushrooms. No, you can't do that. I'm sorry, but we went and talked to somebody else, and they decided. So we just wasted an hour and a half. Well, then we drove to this other park that was like an hour and a half again away, and like further south. Um, Clifty something, Clifty Falls. It's this really cool gorge, and we were there for like probably like 2 hours, and we saw like more mushrooms than we had seen the whole trip, and it was just like, oh man, what were we doing there, wasting all our time? We could have been here. And then it got dark on us. Well, Kim comes by, and then she has a whole bunch of mushrooms for us, and we're photographing her mushrooms. And we got done doing that, and then the ranger comes by, and he's like, what are you guys doing? It's like, well, we're hunting mushrooms. He's like, did you get these here? Like, no, we got them somewhere. We brought them here and photographed them and something. But like, it's not illegal. That I don't know. Like some parks they know the rules, and some parks they don't. And the best thing to do is just try to fly under the radar all the time. Is what we figured out as mushroom hunters in all of our experiences.
So we went to one of the parks because I wanted to look for mushrooms, and there were like no mushroom hunting signs everywhere.
That's because of us.
Is there a story here? And like that is because of Johnny.
Oh.
So there are now many no mushroom hunting signs, courtesy of
Yeah.
those two.
Well, that was a county park. That was a county park, so you're not allowed to hunt in county parks, but it was right across from our campground, and yeah, it's some old growth there. And I don't know, it just looked
They
cool.
chase you in quads if you're picking mushrooms without permission, and you have to hide through the woods and duck behind big stumps as they're radioing for
Yeah.
backup and telling which way to look.
And then you see more mushrooms when you're hiding, so then you have to photograph those mushrooms.
I mean, we tried to obey the rules at first. We told them
Yeah.
we're looking for birds and other things like that. And then they told us we weren't allowed off the trail. And the police get back on the trail. And we were like, what,
Yeah,
4 minute walk from the trail?
not even.
And Garrett's like, okay, we'll get back to the trail. But before he finds the trail, it takes him
No,
like,
I asked them, can we finish taking our pictures, please?
but then like 2 hours later, we still didn't make it back to the trail because he kept finding another one, and then they came looking for us.
Yeah, and then they came looking for us. And then they put up the signs.
Not cheap. Don't get fired.
Wow.
On the quad or by anyone else, so. Not gonna be in a bad rep. To just push the
Yeah.
limits.
They got a lot of fun just rare mushrooms in that park too.
Yeah, it's tough when you go to places when there's droughts because, like I mean, finding mushrooms around here right now, it's pretty tough. So you got to chase the rain sometimes, and sometimes the rain falls where there's no hunting signs.
And one of the parks we like, the Garrett found when it was a drought, was this little park. It was a little county park, but it was mostly a bicycle trail. So they have mountain bikes, and they just take shovels and they pile up these big mounds of dirt where they jump over through the woods, and they destroy the whole woods with, shoveling mounds of dirt and a bike. And you know what they have? They tell us, and they put up signs because of us, that walking through the woods picking mushrooms. We're not riding a bike, running over all the plants, and making big mounds of dirt. That we're not allowed to pick a mushroom, or even photograph one in there. But they're allowed to ride their bikes and dig anything up they want. We've learned that.
Yeah,
When we see the sign, we just, I think we ignore it.
I guess, yeah. So in some places, yeah, don't do that. Don't do what we do.
Or don't be ready to
Dude.
be emergent. All.
It's okay if you're in
Yeah.
Indiana, you gotta say. Steve told us, he doesn't care, he says, you can do it, he promises every time he tells us, he says, mushroom picking is legal everywhere you go in Indiana, you're never get in trouble. So, we figure, Steve said we could, he'll take our mushrooms no matter where they come from. Right?
Yeah, you did say that.
And if we broke a rule somewhere, Steve told us it was okay. You know, we're not from the area, how are we supposed to know? Right? I think Garrett at least listened to the law.
Yeah, I tried.
Our two rule breakers.
This isn't recorded, is it?
Give it up for John Garrett.
Thanks.
Thank you all for coming. Weeks for the next meeting, we all kind of hang out and chill afterwards. Stop. We also hang out playing the chairs afterwards. Chair.
We didn't check for.
Oh, I see you all.
Yeah, check.
Thanks.
Oh.
Next. Next month.
Yes.
That's one